Have you ever heard of the Pygmalion Effect? It is otherwise known as the Rosenthal effect, after the psychologist who studied it. The effect was named after Pygmalion, a sculptor in Greek mythology. He became a misogynist after seeing a woman practicing prostitution and decided to remain celibate. One day, he carved a sculpture of a woman and he found it so perfect that he fell in love with it. He would kiss the sculpture, bring it gifts, and at one point he wished at the altar of Aphrodite for a bride that would be exactly like the sculpture. The next time he kissed it, the sculpture came to life. The Pygmalion effect is a psychological phenomenon according to which high expectations lead to improved performance. Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson conducted a study, the results of which were published in 1968, which showed that when teachers would expect enhanced performance from children, the children's performance would be enhanced as a result. The Pygmalion effect is a causal loop. Other people's beliefs and expectations of us makes them act or behave in a way that helps us. Other people's actions towards us make us believe that whatever their beliefs about us are, they're true. These beliefs about ourselves influence our actions and behavior, which then reinforces their beliefs about us. And so it goes on and on. The other person who starts with a belief or an expectation for us, according to the Pygmalion effect, will see that belief to be true. That's why it is said to lead to self-fulfilling prophecy. The Pygmalion effect refers only to how high expectations lead to better performance. The opposite is also true. Low expectations lead to worse performance, and that is called the Golem effect. The Pygmalion effect is most often associated with school or work performance because it is supposed to work better when teachers or superiors voice their expectations to their students or employees. But the Pygmalion effect can apply everywhere. One example. A professor of pedagogy showed that the Pygmalion effect is likely to influence therapist treatment because therapists often consider motivation as the main factor to determine whether a patient will succeed in their treatment. Let's take another example, romantic relationships. When we choose a romantic partner, we believe that they are great and that they are capable for great things. So we have high expectations for them, for what they could do for themselves and for us as well. As a result of this belief and high expectations, we encourage our partner to go after what they want to achieve and push them towards improvement. Because of our continuous encouragement, our partner believes, even if they didn't previously, that they are capable to achieve great things. So they start believing in themselves and that they can do it. This influences their actions and behavior. They will start taking action to achieve what they can achieve, or they will go to greater lengths to do that, and they find that they can trust us and our support. This, in turn, enforces our initial belief about our partner, that they are indeed great and that they can achieve amazing things. The good thing about the Pygmalion effect is that it impacts positively those we expect a lot from. The bad thing is that it can happen subconsciously for both parties. So when we hold a stereotype about a person or a group of people, we might be applying, without us even knowing, the Pygmalion effect's counterpart, the Golem effect. This is one reason why we should try our hardest to rid ourselves of stereotypes. It hurts other people and it hurts us too. How? According to the Golem effect, if we don't expect an employee of ours to succeed, we don't try much to help them. And so the employee tries less and less to succeed. What brings us to point zero? We are proven correct that we were right to not expect success from this employee, which in turn hurts our position as a leader, our team, and our work. It is very important that we know of both the Pygmalion and the Golem effect. Doing so, we are able to understand how other people's expectations impact our behavior and to use these expectations in such a way that will produce better outcomes as a result. And at the same time, also how our expectations impact other people's behavior and outcomes. We should always put our best foot forward when meeting people and not be guided by any kind of bias. And if we don't feel that someone has high expectations of us, we should look for other people who will. Even though it is usually authority figures who have the power to influence how people that are subordinate to them behave by holding high or low expectations, the opposite can happen as well. When we expect a superordinate to be good and competent, we tend to be more interested and willing to listen to, which improves their performance. I should also add that there is a difference between high expectations and too high expectations. Having overly high expectations for someone can be stressful and discouraging for them, up to the point where they don't even try anymore. In fact, research has shown that the Pygmalion effect diminishes if we see that our chance of success is less than 50%. Now, there are 4 factors that we should be mindful of when it comes to the Pygmalion effect. Factor number 1, environment. When we have high expectations for someone, we create a warm environment around them. This is more important for people in positions of power. We should try to create a warm environment for everyone. It could be social, economic, an environment where the other person feels the warmth and support radiate from us. Such an environment promotes learning and growth. I have a short story about this. When I was at university, I had a professor that I admired. She was, in my eyes, very competent and good at explaining well too. In the middle of the semester, we had a group project which we were then supposed to present in front of the entire class. My friends and we finished the project, but I wasn't entirely happy with what we had done. So on the day everybody had to present their project, I went and told the professor whether we could use the few hours we had left before our presentation to continue working on the project. What she said to me, and I remember to this day, was, "Oh, it doesn't really matter. I don't expect much from your group anyway." For a young student who idolizes the professor, hearing those words was absolutely crushing. From that point on, I was only studying to get a good grade. Even during the presentation, I had completely switched off. While I was basically invisible to this professor, the same professor had actually created an incredible environment for those who she believed were better. Factor number 2, input. In the Rosenthal-Jacobson study, it was found that teachers gave more and better quality material to students who they believed were more intelligent. In the same way, if we are providing some sort of input to someone, an employee or a friend, we should provide the same to other employees or other friends as well. Going back to the example of my professor, she encouraged the pool of students she believed were more likely to perform well. She would ask them questions to improve their reasoning and would push them to ask her questions. In the labs, she would approach their computers and give them hints to develop their logic. And for the rest of the students, she would barely take any questions from. And it comes as no surprise, the former would be talking all the time with confidence, and the latter would shy away from speaking up. Factor number 3, feedback. The Pygmalion loop contains, among what I already mentioned, the element of feedback. When we have high expectations for someone, we behave in a way that helps them. They believe our belief is true. They take actions based on this belief that has now become theirs, and this reinforces our own belief. From this point on, we continue supporting them, and one of the ways we support them is by giving them feedback on what they have done or are in the process of doing. Because subconsciously, we want to see them prove our belief. Needless to say, feedback is very important for all of us. We are all learning every day, be it at school, at work, at becoming better human beings, and we all need some sort of feedback to direct us. Should we go on and do the same thing we were doing so far, or should we move another direction? In school and at work, we all know that feedback is crucial, but we don't incorporate enough of it outside of school and work. When we didn't like what a friend told us, we should let them know that we didn't like it and why. When our partner buys us a box of chocolates and we love chocolate, we should tell them that. And factor number 4, output. If a teacher believes a student will succeed, they will give the student more opportunities. The same thing is valid for employees. I've seen people in a position of power giving lots of opportunities to one employee and not worry about giving any to other employees. It's good for the one employee, but not so much for the rest. As a matter of fact, another study, which used platoons in the Israel Defense Forces, has shown that the Pygmalion effect can impact not just individuals, but whole groups too. We should all consider these 4 factors in our day-to-day life to try and make a warm and bias-free environment for everyone, and give as much as possible support and feedback to those around us. I will see you guys next week.